Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Gaiman speaking to you from our headquarters on South Brundage Street right here in Troy, and of course Troy Cablevision bringing you our show this morning, and we appreciate them very much. We're on Facebook across the country, across the world. So, they claim that Facebook has 2 billion subscribers. Well, today we're going out to 2 billion subscribers. At least if they wanted to watch it, they could on Facebook. Hope you're doing well today. As we start a Thursday, and of course, around in the corner and heading right through March. And of course, we're looking at a lot of things going on right now in our community. Of course, Troy University is still off on break, and so they're excited about that. The ATOs are in town. The ATO fraternity from Troy University is in town, and we're going to give them a ring in a few moments and see how everybody panned out. But they did complete their journey of 137 miles, and a good picture in the paper today of my good buddy. Everybody's getting their pictures made with Bob Mills. Bob rode down there to greet these guys. Pike County residents and ATO members Barry Singleton, Bradley Paramore, Patrick O'Brien, Eric Lee, the support team, and Brian Redmond posed with Troy resident and veteran Bob Mills after completing a 28.3 mile walk that raised $71,000. Amen, amen, you young men, for Jeff Sullivan's Jeff Sullivan's Wounded Warrior Outdoor Adventures, and this money will pay for veterans who are disabled to go out and hunt deer and hunt turkey and do the things that they don't normally are able to do. But thanks to this program, they found a way that these veterans can enjoy hunting and fishing. So congratulations again. 36 ATO students from Troy participated in the 6-day journey, and from Troy to Panama City Beach, Florida. And again, congratulations. A trio of quakes shakes Florida-Alabama line. U.S. geologists, and I don't know if these ATOs ran into this or not, the U.S. Geological Survey reports that a magnitude 2.3 earthquake occurred Tuesday night near Flomaton, Alabama, near the state line with Florida. The town has about 1,400 residents. No damage was reported from the weak shake, which Geological Survey says was too weak for most people to even feel. We got a call coming in. Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
I was reading about a trio of earthquakes hit the Alabama-Florida line. You know, people don't think of Alabama being in an earthquake zone, but that's a fairly common occurrence in Birmingham, isn't it?
Well, I mean, North Alabama, different parts, but I mean, this was like around Jay, Florida, around Brewton and Jay.
Yeah, Flomaton.
Within a week, there was a 2.1, a 3.1, a 2.6, I think. I read about that, too.
Yeah, no question about it. And
of course, those are extremely small. You know, you get up around the 4 or the 5 range, you're talking about something pretty serious. But, yeah, kind of unique that happened down on the Florida-Alabama line.
Yeah. Mike, I've got to get this ESPN Plus, because last night I watched Troy and Jacksonville State go 11 innings.
Boy, who wanted to watch the end of that?
I know it, but Troy loses.
Troy gets swept on the season by Jack State. I mean, 0-4 in midweek games. I mean, not looking good for this Troy baseball program right now. I don't think they have the pitching this year at all.
They had a walk-off. They had a walk-off grand slam home run by a freshman.
walked 2 guys. I mean, as well. I mean, had 2 outs.
Well, in the game, we walked 11 batters and they struck out something like 11.
Well, yeah, I read about it this morning. I'm sure Coach Smart chewed those guys pretty good on the way home on that bus ride. I mean, it's a situation where, you know, to get swept by your rival, you know, that's something that hurts Coach Smart, I'm sure, worse than anybody.
And also, I know in one inning there were 2 hit by pitch balls. You know what I'm saying? We put them on, counting the walks and the hit by pitches 13 or 14 times free.
Yeah, they scored the 9th on a 100 run. Troy had a chance to win it.
Yeah. Well, I watched the game at a friend of mine's house, and I want to get this ESPN Plus. It really was good. And Jacksonville State, Mike, has a beautiful ballpark that, let me tell you, not only is their field artificial, their field is a beautiful artificial. They got a brand new ballpark. Their field is artificial, the whole thing, including the pitcher's mound, it looks like.
Yeah, a lot of that probably got donated by Randy Owen from the Supergroup Alabama.
I don't know who did it, but Jacksonville State's got a beautiful ballpark, no question about it. And the broadcast was very good. I enjoyed it all. I went to a friend of mine's house and watched it, and of course it wasn't over. It started at 6, and it was not over until after 11 o'clock. Can you believe that? Over 5 hours long.
Well, that's what happens when you walk so many people.
Yeah, that's right. And Troy got real good pitching from, boy, he came in and was really good. The kid from Cottonwood, Corey Deal, his name's Deal.
Yeah.
Boy, he was really impressive, but they took him out. I don't know why they took him out. He didn't pitch for 2 innings, but he really was impressive. And they had a 95-mile-an-hour fastball guy that looks like big time. Jacksonville's got a good team, Mike.
Troy fell to 88-4 after leading after 8 innings under Mark Smart, so that was rare for them to lose.
88-4. That is amazing. Amazing stat right there.
When leading after 8 innings.
Yeah, no question about it.
But, you know, Troy falls to 9-8. Unfortunately, you know, not playing good in the midweek games, which Coach Smart's really been, you know, really good, you know, in his tenure as a head coach during midweek. So, got to find somebody to step up and get some leadership in those midweek games. You know, I know it's all about winning the conference championship, but as far as old fans like we are in Troy baseball, it hurts pretty bad to get swept by Jacksonville State in a season.
No question about it. Troy and Arkansas State go at it starting Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday. Big conference.
Yeah, the best thing about ESPN Plus is only $4.99 a month, and you can watch unlimited basketball and baseball. So it's a lot of fun to have.
You know, something that was really, it looked like, just by looking at it, that the pitcher's mound at Jacksonville is artificial too. Have you ever seen a pitcher's mound artificial?
Yeah, I have before.
Of course, now it's take your kid to a ball game. Your kids get in free this weekend, so a great opportunity to see Troy play, and these kids will have a ball.
Yeah, tough night for the Lady Trojan softball team as well. They fell on the road to LSU 11-2. Troy is now 18-9 on the season, and pretty much every single loss they've had is to an SEC team. They cannot beat an SEC team. I think they're 0-7 against SEC teams.
A lesson we learned from Harper Lee.
So it just tells you it's just a totally different level when you play an SEC team.
The Brundage, we've got a program coming in to Brundage this week, lessons we learned from Harper Lee production, and we'll be talking to some people more about that today down at We Fiddle Around Theater in Brundage.
This would be down in Monroeville, where Harper Lee was from.
Yeah, that's right. but the actual theater part of it is going to be done in Brundage, I think. I need to get more information before I start talking about it. I want to mention Pike Liberal Arts shut down Lakeside last night, 5-1. Congratulations to them. Morgan Bundy pitched very well, got the start and went the distance, and struck out 11 batters. So Pike Liberal Arts off to a pretty good start. They're 12-7 now on the season. Listen to this, Mike. Charles Henderson golf team took a home win in their match in Eufaula, took home a win in the match in Eufaula on Tuesday morning at the Country Club of Alabama. In just their third match of the year, the Trojans fired a .335, good enough to beat Eufaula, Dothan, and Headland. And here it is. The Trojans had two golfers finish in the top three in Eufaula. Griffin McCrary, they call him Griff, fired a tournament low 69 to claim the singles win, while Braden Presswood finished in second after shooting at 82. But Griff is picking up where his daddy left off, man. He looks like a big-time golfer. I think he's just a sophomore.
Yeah, that's great. Shooting a 69, definitely.
Bailey Nixon shot an 89, while Braxton Barron and Cody Paramore shot 92. Nicholas Laughlin shot 98, and Grant Baker shot 99. The Trojans will host their first of five matches at the Troy Country Club on Thursday morning. The match will begin at 10 a.m. The Trojans will be joined by unbeaten Enterprise, Andalusia, Opp, and Kinston. So a lot of golf going on. And again, at Pontra Vitra, Mike, the easiest way for anybody out there that wants to see a big-time professional golf tournament can get in their car and drive to Jacksonville and walk up and pay at the door. What do you think about that?
Yeah, the Players Championship starts today. Players Championship got moved up this year, so it's going to be fun to be able to watch that this weekend. I'll try to watch a little bit of it if I get a chance. But one of those things where, we mentioned yesterday with Will Matthews, there'll probably be 80,000 people in the gallery certain days.
Yeah, no question about it. Makes me sort of...
Mark Ingram's been picked up by the Baltimore Ravens, so Mark Ingram was only 89 yards away from the rushing record with the New Orleans Saints. He played there for 8 years, but he is now at Baltimore Ravens on contract for $15 million for 3 years. So $5 million a year at running back's not bad for Mark Ingram.
That's not bad. You're right.
He's had a pretty good career, 2 Pro Bowls, 6,000 rushing yards, and says he wants to try to get to 10,000 rushing yards before he retires. So a guy one of my favorite players to come through Alabama. I remember I watched him as a freshman. I got in at a scrimmage and watched him when he first got there, and I could tell he was a different kind of guy. Yeah. And really been a great player. Won the Heisman Trophy. And
Alabama's first ever Heisman Trophy winner, wasn't he?
That's correct.
Of course, Troy University's Lady Trojans go at it today at 2:00 against South Alabama on ESPN Plus. Of course, the Trojans playing very good basketball right now, and of course, got a shot here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Rigby and Troy's the number 3 seed. You got to think Troy's going to have a chance to make the NCAA tournament, which I tell you, that's a fun trip down to New Orleans anytime you can go. So hopefully a lot of fans will go down there and watch all this. I know her husband being the head coach at Eufaula, Coach Ed Rigby. I don't know if they've got, they wouldn't have spring practice, so he can go down there and watch them and cheer them on as well.
No question about it, and we'll be watching that real closely. And
I tell you what, I don't know if I've ever seen a husband and wife combination be so good in coaching. Of course, he's won state championships at Alba, and now he's at Eufaula, and then his wife's been to 2 NCAA tournaments. That's quite a pair right there.
I agree with you. I'm afraid somebody's going to come by and pick her up if we don't watch it.
I think there's no doubt. I mean, the Alabama coaching job is going to come open. Christy Kerr has not even made an NCAA tournament since she's been there, and several other SEC jobs will come open. I would imagine she'll definitely be a hot commodity. I would think.
She's proven. I think
it's fun brand of basketball too. High scoring and I think she's a really good recruiter as well.
I want to say that
if you can recruit this well to Troy, you can recruit anywhere.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's see if I can catch up. We'll give it a little bit more time, but we're going to be calling the ATOs down in Panama City.
You talked to them yesterday.
Yeah, but they were not completed yesterday. They finished yesterday, and there were several people that were there to greet them when they came through. So,
I thought this was all over with already.
It is over. It is over. I just want to see how everybody came out, and I'm gonna try to get them on our show, or several of them on our show next week. Let me tell you, people say they're gonna walk 128 miles. Well, it sounds easy, doesn't it? I mean, they talk about it, but just thinking about the guys that actually had to do it, that's pretty tough.
Interesting. The SEC win lines are out for next year, over-unders, what you think each team's going to go. They got Tennessee at 7 wins next year. You think over or under?
Wait a minute.
And Jeremy Pruitt's second year at Tennessee, do you think they'll win over 7 or under 7?
I think they win over 7. I think they're going to be better.
Then they got Texas A&M 7.5. I definitely like Texas A&M 7.5. I like that over.
What is Alabama?
Well, I'm just doing the whole list. LSU's 9.
All right, saying that they'll win 9 games or more. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say under. I think they're not gonna be as good this year.
Okay, they've got their quarterback back, and that should help them.
Florida's 9. I'll say they'll go over 9. Auburn's got to go to Florida this year. That's going to be a really tough game.
One thing about Auburn, think about this, Mike. Every year they play Tennessee, Florida.
No, they don't play Tennessee every year. Alabama plays Tennessee every year.
Well, all right, okay. They play Florida.
Auburn plays Georgia every year.
They had to play Florida and Georgia every year.
No, they don't have to play Florida every year, but just Georgia they have to play every year, just like Alabama has to play Tennessee every year.
Oh, okay. Maybe I did get confused there. But their schedule is tough again. Let's look at their schedule. Have you got it looking at you right now?
Which going, Auburn?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let me get through this list real quick.
Go ahead.
Georgia 10.5. They're going to have a home game against Notre Dame. They got to travel to Auburn, Georgia Tech. Of course, they play Florida in the cocktail party, but they got them going over 10.5 wins.
Who's that going?
They got Georgia going over 10.5 wins.
Okay.
Alabama, they got them going over 11 wins.
All right.
The Tigers' schedule is brutal. This is Auburn's schedule with road games against LSU, Florida, Texas A&M, a neutral site date against Oregon, and then engagements with Alabama and Georgia at home. Auburn's trying to find a quarterback, so they've got them under 8 wins. And if they're under 8 wins, Malzahn loses his job.
Yeah, that would be something.
I can pull up Auburn's schedule. I mean, I think Auburn will be lucky to go 7-5 next year, the way it looks to me.
Well, it looks like this right here, Texas A&M, LSU, and Florida. I think they'll lose all 3 of those, don't you think?
Well, I mean, it just depends, if they find any kind of quarterback play.
Yeah, that's right. Then they play Alabama and Georgia. That's 5 games that will be awfully tough to win right there. And,
I mean, to start a season off of Oregon, that's going to be a really tough game as well.
Yeah, it really is. They're much improved. And who's their coach now?
Mario Cristobal used to be the head coach at Florida International. He used to play Troy all the time.
I think he found his niche there, don't you think?
Well, he was assistant at Alabama for 4 years. He's offensive line coach under Saban.
That was a smart move for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Auburn, starts with Oregon on the 31st. Then they play Tulane. Then they play Kent State. So they ought to be at least 2-1 going into Texas A&M. I think they lose to Texas A&M. I think they beat Mississippi State. I think they lose at Florida. I think they beat Arkansas at Arkansas. I think they lose at LSU. I think they beat Ole Miss at home. I think they lose to Georgia at home. I think they beat Samford at home, and I think they lose to Alabama at home.
Yeah, so they could be 7-5 very easily. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't even know if that's even 7-5. That's got them beating Tulane, beating Kent State. Let's see, beating Mississippi State, beating Arkansas, beating Ole Miss, beating Samford. I got them going like 6-6 right now.
Oh boy!
With the swing game being the Oregon game, so they can either be 7-5 or 6-6. But Malzahn didn't keep his job if that's the case.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I don't know how Auburn. I mean, the best I could even see them doing is 8-4. I don't even know if they can do that.
You know, at least last year everybody thought they'd be good on defense, but they don't even look good on defense, do they?
They got everybody coming back on defense. So they had a couple guys that, you know, Davidson and
well, maybe they will be better.
The Brown guy. I mean, the linebacker play is going to be definitely missing. They're losing all their linebackers.
Yeah. How about Davidson? He's
Auburn has been very loyal to Samford. They've played Samford so many times in football over the last 10, 15 years.
They've helped Samford's program, haven't they?
Well, I mean, they definitely paid them a lot of money to play.
I know it. You reckon what the deal is? Are they afraid they might get beat if they play Troy, or what's the deal?
I mean, it's just nothing to gain, you know.
If you win,
great, but if you play a close game, you got all your fans even hating, that they played, Troy so bad, I guess.
Well, Troy would bring at least 10 to 15,000 fans. I bet you Samford wouldn't bring that many.
Yeah, well, Troy, I think in the situation they're in, obviously something's happened, over the years with the athletic, departments in Alabama and Auburn, and they've just, totally agreed not to play Troy.
Yeah.
I don't think it will ever happen.
Do you think the only thing I can think of is they worry about maybe getting beat. Troy's beaten, people say, ha, 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 oh, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Well, Troy went to LSU and beat LSU. They went to Nebraska and beat Nebraska.
If they played Alabama, I think Troy would be a 30-point underdog, and if they played Auburn, it'd probably be more like around the 18 range.
Yeah, that's about right. But
especially with this team coming back, I mean, Troy's predicted to win the Sun Belt this year. They've got a great chance to win 10 games. So I would imagine. The biggest game for Troy is if they can go on the road and beat Missouri at Missouri.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think they can win all of them.
And if Barker can come back in real good shape, he's the real deal. It's just a shame that he just got 1 year left. But
it's going to make you think that the way Sawyer Smith did come in and throw the ball, that it's probably going to be maybe a platoon system to start the first few games. But that was kind of the way it was last year.
Yeah.
And then Barker was the starter after that.
Yeah. No question about it.
But who's to say the free kid won't come in and play lights out? Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks on Troy's roster, more than I've ever seen in my life.
No question about it. They're in good shape.
What's going on the latest on the basketball front? Any rumors of coaches or anything like that?
No, at least I haven't heard anything. And another thing, I don't think Troy should be in the buyout business. That's a lot of money to pay a coach for not getting any services out of him.
I mean, are you sure his contract wasn't over?
No, I think he had at least 1 year on his contract, at least. Might have had more than that.
He's making around $290,000. So I mean, it's a little bit different to buy out a basketball coach than a football coach just making $800,000, $900,000.
Especially when your program doesn't have a lot of revenue. Troy basketball is not raised. They don't draw that well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about that the other day. That's one thing I'm sure Coach Cunningham and his staff, I don't know what went on while they were there as far as getting the students involved and getting the public involved, but that's one good thing Neil Brown did. He was his own PR guy. He would stand out there on campus and pass out T-shirts to students and go to the fraternity houses and go to the sorority houses, and, the following for football is, as good as I've ever seen. And unfortunately, with that staff, I know Coach Macy was there for 30 years, and, a lot of fans just didn't want to go to games anymore after Macy was gone. They I guess, had such a great relationship with Macy and respected him so much. But, you know, that's something that the new coach is going to have to do. He's going to have to get out in the community. He's going to have to find ways to get fans into the seats and make a home court advantage. Troy had no home court advantage in basketball over the last 6 years.
I hope they'll keep at least two, maybe three of their assistants. It would tickle me, but I doubt if they will.
Yeah, well, most of the time you're going to bring somebody in that's going to want to bring his own people in.
I would think so. And
I doubt that would be the case. You might see one, but that's not usually going to happen.
Yeah. Or would you think they'd consider any of the staff members as head coach?
I don't know. I don't think you can, you know, considering they only have one win this season in 6 years. I wouldn't think so.
And another thing, did they have contracts? Did they have buyout contracts? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know. You'd have to, you know, go and look at, you know, their contracts through the university to find out all that information. I know it's a situation, though. It's tough. You know, there's families involved, and you know, they did everything they could to put a winning product on the court, and of course they made it to the NCAA tournament, which Troy had only made one other time. So I think they can look back at that and be proud that they made it to you know, Greenville, South Carolina, and played Duke of all teams. That's experience I'll always remember the rest of my life. That you know, you and I got to experience that trip, and if you're going to play anybody, you want to play Duke, don't you?
Yeah, oh yeah, no question about it. Of course, our show's brought to you by Troy Health and Rehab.
That's an experience I'll never forget.
Why now? The tournament?
I said, I can only say we saw Troy play Duke in basketball in the NCAA tournament. You can't ask for more than that.
Oh, no, you're right. No question about it. Of course, I want to mention Dixieland Dental today, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. We appreciate them. They've been a strong, loyal sponsor for a long time. Again, baseball starts at Troy tomorrow with a 3-game series with conference foe Arkansas State. Bring a kid to the game free this weekend, so remember that. Some baseball action last night. Carroll of Ozark, led by Tyler German, beat Houston Academy 4-1. So a big win there. Enterprise beat Rehoboth 9-3. They play Charles Henderson today. Cottonwood beat Ashford 8-2 in the high school baseball last night. Pike Liberal Arts, we already mentioned, led by Madison Johnson's 2 hits and 2 RBIs, and Morgan Bundy's 2-hitter were the difference. Bundy struck out 11 Lakeside batters en route to a Pike Liberal Arts 5-1 victory over Lakeside. So big win there. Enterprise girls beat Robert E. Lee of Montgomery 13-4, also in softball. Looking at the baseball rankings, Mike, Charles Henderson of Troy is right now ranked number 3 in state in Class 5A. St. Paul number 1. Charles Henderson going into this, of course, they won yesterday. I think their record's now 12-3. St. Paul's at 11-1.
Henderson's ranked number 3 in the state.
That's right. They really are off to a good start in baseball. St. Paul's at 11-1. They're number 1. Etowah is 2. Then comes Charles Henderson with a 12-3 record. 3. Satsuma is 4. Shelby County 5. No teams from our neck of the woods are in the top 15 teams out there. Of course, want to mention this. This is no strange occurrence. G.W. Long is number 1 in Class 2A, followed by Fayetteville, Thorsby, Fife, Leroy, and Arrington. Arrington is 11-4. Highland Home is...
What's in the water down in Skipperville? I mean, that's just incredible how they're able to do this time after time.
Well, those coaches are outstanding. You know, they started with their daddy, and their daddy was an outstanding coach. And then he just molded those players and then molded his sons to be great coaches. And that's exactly what they've done.
Yeah, Troy's spring football, I was looking at those days. Troy spring will be starting next week, so that'll be the 19th, the 21st, 23rd, 26th, 28th, and 30th of March. You can watch Troy practice.
Okay, the 19th falls on what day?
Well, today is the 14th, and today is a Thursday, so what would that be? So that'd be next Tuesday they start, I believe.
Right, start on Tuesday, yeah, exactly. So we'll be looking forward to that. And
of course, we're still trying to figure out. I mean, if anybody knows where Tron Folsom's going, graduate transfer, and then Marcus Jones, who will be a junior, will have to sit out wherever he transfers. Still trying to figure out where those guys are going. Hopefully, Troy will not lose anybody else in this transfer portal situation.
Yeah. Mike, I can't help but believe that he's going to West Virginia. I mean, they would be the team with the most interest because, you know, he coached him for 2 years, you know.
Well, I mean, you got to sit out a year, though. So, I mean, it's one of those type things that.
But, you know, yeah, you're right.
Willing to do that. I mean, it would make sense, but, you know, this is a kid from Enterprise that, you know, I heard that Saban really liked, and I heard a lot of SEC schools liked as well. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows where he's going? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Of course, high school baseball today has Enterprise playing at Charles Henderson. That's a 4:30 game. Eufaula at Geneva, Northview at Wicksburg, Paxton, Florida at Rehoboth, Ashford at Headland, Houston Academy at Dale County.
Paxton, Florida is where I come in when I go over the line at Florala. That's Paxton, Florida.
You're exactly right. Slocum at Strawn, Abbeville at Houston County, Luverne's at Arrington, Zion Chapel's at New Brockton, Elba's at Bradley. Should be a good one. And Bluntstown, Florida plays at Northside Methodist. Those are some of the games.
The highest point in Florida is in Paxton, Florida. You know that the highest point is 356 feet.
I did not know that. How did you find that out?
There's a sign on the side of the road when you're driving through there.
All right, Mike, I had
I might could go climb that highest point one day. I might could do 356 feet.
Well, let me tell you something, Mike. I left Troy about 4:30 and got lost going to see a friend of mine over in Bullock County. Beautiful drive though, and some of the prettiest homes. All of Montgomery, it looks like, is moving out to the east, out in the countryside. Some beautiful, beautiful homes built between Union Springs and Montgomery. But I went to see a friend of mine, Mike, to refurbish my tapes. You know, I'm big on 50s and 60s music and Motown and all of that. And
you're talking about your records?
Yeah, and while I was there at Jeff Seymour's house, who's a good friend of mine, big Troy fan, we watched on his TV, and it was fabulous, the view of that game last night with Troy and
what time did you get back last night?
It was late. It was after 11:30. But I had a great visit. But a couple of things I learned while I was there. First of all, I need to get on ESPN Plus, and I need to find out how to do it today. But something else, Mike, and I want you to go right now. It's called Reunion Troy. Reunion Troy. And there I saw all kinds of old pictures of Troy. People out there hear it today. Go to your to Facebook and what would you say? Scream on. Reunion.
Just go to Google and click on it.
Yeah, go to Google or Facebook and click on it. It's called Reunion Troy, and it's got some of the oldest pictures that I have ever seen of Troy, Alabama, Mike. Wonderful, wonderful pictures. Even pictures of Kerry Green and Perry Green playing in the front yard.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Are you? Was it easy to get to?
Yeah, I mean, just go to www.reuniontroy.com.
Now, I want people to listen to this. Mike, tell us about some of the pictures. I know they can't see them, but tell us about them.
Well, I mean, anybody out there listening can just
The old fire department shows pictures of them in the 30s. it shows the whole staff at the old hospital, Beard Hospital, the old Beard Hospital. It showed the entire staff, about 100 people. Very good picture there.
Yeah, he started this site.
Who started it?
I mean, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
But this is a great thing. If you're watching on our show today and you want to see something.
The contact person is Leanne Wyndham.
Well, she's done a super job. I'm sure she has went back into the archives and found all these pictures. It's got a picture of 8 girls, including Mary Duncan Williford, and several girls that had the picture taken outside the hangout back in the early 60s or probably the late 50s.
Huh.
But all of this was the history of Troy, and I don't know if anybody else has done this other than Leon Wyndham, but Leon Wyndham. If Leanne is watching today, it'd tickle me for us to call us and tell us where she found all these pictures. But it's one of the best looks of old Troy I've ever seen. Shows the Governor Henderson's house. It shows his sister's house. It shows the Bashinsky house. It then showed downtown Troy, and Troy was a bustling community, Mike, in the 30s and 40s. I mean, it was big. You look at it, they've got a sky view, and this is something I've never seen. They've got a sky view of Troy when the courthouse was in the middle of the square. And it shows the old courthouse.
I hear all these stories about the old courthouse and how horrible it was when it got...
And that would have to be in the early 50s, but Troy downtown was big. It was a bustling community back then, and showed old Troy University's. So
Troy went from one of the prettier courthouses to one of the ugliest in the state of Alabama.
You know,
because what is that? The 50s designs when they built that courthouse.
That's right, and a lot of people didn't want them to tear down the old courthouse, but
yeah, I've heard stories about that.
Bird Drugs got a good look at Bird Drugs, and then also Bird Drugs before Mr. Bird had it, and that was Sam Williams had the drugstore. But all the old churches, the First Baptist Church, oh, it was beautiful. Tell us what all you're looking at.
No, I mean, I'm just looking at what you're talking about.
All right, well, tell us some things that you're seeing. I want everybody. I want people to go.
Anybody can go in there and look at it themselves.
I know.
I mean.
All right, how do you do it? I haven't done it myself.
Somebody from Troy Cable can put it on your screen right now if they wanted to.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, if you can put, this would be great if you could put this on. Let's say, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a break and we'll be back. Maybe we can put this on our screen. Take care.
Local butchers are on site at both stores and will help you select the best cuts of meat and trim them to your liking. Our USDA Choice beef is the most consistently tender, juicy, and flavorful beef you can buy, all at cost plus 10%.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Why buy from Pike County Ford? We live local. Troy is our home, so you'll always be dealing with hometown folks who are all about Troy. We'll beat any legitimate written offer you bring in, so you know you're getting the best deal guaranteed. And no matter what you buy from Pike County Ford, you can always count on the best service before and after the sale. Bottom line, you get good people, a better product, and the best deal, guaranteed. Pike County Ford in Troy, never too far for a far better deal.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance. Whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies, Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and if you now if you changed over to Reunion Troy, you said you got to go to www.reuniontroy. This doesn't have anything to do with my rock and roll reunion now. It's called reuniontroy.com. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. www.reuniontroy.com.
So you have to go to www to get it?
Well, I mean, it's just type that in, and that's the website.
Yeah, okay, it'll definitely.
I mean, you can type in reuniontroy.com and get there too.
Well, I tell you what, if we can show some of these pictures this morning, I found it to be extraordinarily exciting to see all these old pictures of old Troy and people you can identify them. In fact,
all right, Senior do a book on Troy that has a lot of pictures.
Yeah, but I don't know if he had all those pictures, but it was really good, and everybody.
I wonder who took an aerial view of downtown Troy from the 30s and the 40s. I guess somebody was in an airplane and went up there and did it.
It was really unusual, and of course, I want to say they had close to 300 pictures or something. It was really phenomenal. Something I could not get over. And of course, Mike, with spring practice going on at Alabama. When I need to find out when Charles Henderson will go on their spring break.
Well, you know, I'm down here in Great Beach, and everybody from Tuscaloosa and the Fayette area, parts of North Alabama, are on spring break right now down here. There's a lot of people from Tuscaloosa down here. I've seen the tags everywhere.
But again,
tons of people from Tennessee as well. I tell you, there's more people from Tennessee down in the 30A area than I've ever seen in my life. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's a lot going on. The weather's been good too, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been in the 70s, and it's been sunny. I think there might be a little bit of rain coming this weekend, but not bad at all, actually. It's been really good.
Yeah. Avery Johnson, is he gone?
I don't know. You know, it's a situation where I think they could beat Ole Miss tonight. Alabama plays at 6 o'clock. But you know, when you got to play Kentucky in the next round, I think the season will probably be over.
So they are in the tournament tonight. They play tonight at 6. Is that right?
Yeah. Last night, Missouri beat Georgia, and then Texas A&M won as well. They blew out Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt does not win a conference game or an SEC tournament game. So will Bryce Drew, the Valparaiso shooting star, will he lose his job at Vandy? That job might be coming open as well.
You know, and I thought he was a perfect fit for that.
Yeah, you know, left Valparaiso, and, you know, of course he played there, and his dad was the head coach there, and his brothers had a great career at Baylor, Scott Drew. But I don't know what Vandy will do. I would think you would have to make a move when you don't win one conference game. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. How about Barry Goheen? Is he the athletic director?
No, I was just joking around about Barry Goheen. Will.
Well, he was a great player, though, wasn't he?
Avery Johnson, you know, I mean, he's an NBA guy. You know, of course, he was on ESPN as a commentary guy, and never had coached in college. And, you know, for Alabama, I think the expectations were definitely to make the NCAA tournament. They made it last year barely when Sexton, you know, was, you know, phenomenal and made a buzzer beater to beat Texas A&M, and then they beat Auburn in the SEC tournament. But I don't see Alabama making it this year. They lost so many games at home and so many games they had to win to make the NCAA tournament. And I don't think 18 wins gets Alabama in, even if, you know, they play Kentucky down to the wire, which I don't think will happen. But, you know, Alabama, the reason they're still have a chance to be in the NCAA tournament is the fact they beat Kentucky, you know, early in the season at home. So that's really the main reason, you know, a lot of people still talk about them as possibly an NCAA tournament team.
I want to mention that the Alabama Independent School Association's top 10, Pike Liberal Arts, led by that great coach, Mike Ponder. He's got them right now 13-3, ranked number 3 in the state. Followed by he's behind Bessemer Academy 14-3 and Morgan Academy 8.
How much money do you think we could raise if we could do a huge fundraiser and then off the books, Charles Henderson and Pilot Lawrence play a baseball game at Troy University?
I bet that would be a
baseball stadium. You think that would draw a sellout crowd?
You know, you don't ever see it, so I'm thinking that there's some kind of rule out there by the private schools or the public schools saying they would not play them.
What if it's like after the season's over with, they just randomly showed up there one day and we raised a bunch of money?
Well, you know, they could be on a rec team, you know. Most of these guys know each other and been playing with each other for a long time.
I mean, that's one thing, Charles Henderson would beat Pine Level Arch by 50 in football and then probably by 50 in basketball, but in baseball, I think Pike Level Arts could play with Charles Henderson, no doubt about it.
I think so too, and you're exactly right. Again, I want to throw out that Drex Guthrie, not Drex Guthrie.
Drex Guthrie was a dear friend, though. I do miss Drex all the time.
Of course, Griff, Colin McCrary's son, Griff, shot a 68 yesterday. I'm so proud of that young man. You know, he has fought through, some situations health-wise, and it's just gotten better and better and better. And he's a young man. Mike, I used to see him when he was young, and he'd be out at the country club sitting by the benches, and he would ask everybody that come by, he said, do you want to play, or can I play with you? He was looking for somebody to play with because there just wasn't a lot of young kids playing when he wanted to play. And but so many times I've seen him out there hitting practice balls. He's worked hard. Of course, his daddy was an All-American here at Troy, and probably the most knowledgeable golf guy probably in Troy. Now, Barney Burnett would probably question that because he knows a lot, and there's a lot of good golf people, but I would put Colin up there with the best as far as being a player and a student of the game, you know, and a historian. In fact, what he's doing, Mike, he's going to a lot of these big tournaments, and he's being a
being a marshal.
A marshal. Well, it's not necessarily a marshal, but he keeps up with a score. Yeah, he keeps up with a score, you know. And so forth, you know, and I'm sure there's other responsibilities. He goes to he's been to the British Open the last 2 or 3 years, and he's just having a ball doing it. And I don't know if he's at Poncho Vitra or not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he gets involved with the PGA Tour of America, and I mean, I'm sure they have to have, you know, people that, you know, volunteer to do this at different events, different tournaments, and it does seem like it would be a lot of fun.
Well, right now, evidently,
I would imagine he has to pay for his own travel, though. I would think.
Oh, he does. I think so. I would like to mention that Carol of Ozark in 5A is ranked number 11 or 12, ranked number 12. They're 10-5 now, so they're playing good baseball. I know T.R. Miller is in the top 10. Looking at some St. James. Providence Christian, Mike, ranked number 1 in the state in 3A. As we mentioned earlier, G.W. Long's number 1 in 2A. A lot of the Brandley is number 1 in 1A. So those guys are always there. And,
if you want to watch SEC basketball today, the tournament's going on up in Nashville. Your games today starting at noon will be Arkansas against Florida. A lot of people think Arkansas's coach Mike Anderson could be losing his job. Florida, a lot of people say, has to win one more game to make the NCAA tournament. So that'll be a really good game today at noon. Arkansas 17-14, Florida 17-14. Missouri will play the Auburn Tigers today at 2:30. Missouri 15-16.
So Auburn plays at 2:30, you said, or 1:30?
Yeah, 2:30 today on the SEC network.
Okay, and that's channel.
Auburn 22-9, ranked number 22 in the country. Tonight at 6 o'clock, you'll have the Alabama Crimson Tide 17-14 against the Ole Miss Rebels. Kermit Davis, who we have seen coach a media game in Troy, Alabama, had, of course, had really good teams at Middle Tennessee State. He will have Ole Miss in the NCAA tournament their first season, and they'll play Alabama tonight. Must win for Alabama. And then Billy Kennedy, who we mentioned, is not returning to A&M. Wins the game last night, but we'll play Mississippi State tonight, 22-9 at 8:30 p.m. So that game will probably be over tonight around 11 a.m., maybe 11:30.
And Kentucky drew a bye. Florida did they get a bye?
No, Florida plays Arkansas at noon today.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I mean, really going to be interesting to see what
Tennessee got a
happens.
bye, didn't it?
With that Florida-Arkansas game. Arkansas is playing really good basketball right now. Has a 6'11" guy that can really score, can really block shots. Scored 29 and had 17 rebounds against Alabama the last game of the season. A lot of people think he's going to be a lottery pick. So if a guy like that plays well, that could go a long ways in the tournament. Maybe Mike Anderson can save his job.
Mike, let me ask you a couple of things real quick. Of course, back to Troy, and of course, Troy did not make the tournament, and of course, they've had 5 losing seasons in the last 6. But this year should have been, people should have looked at this a little bit different, because you got Jordan Bernardo, who is probably top 25 players in the country. Wouldn't you say he's at least top 25, maybe in the whole country?
I don't know. You can't.
Well, let's say this: that the last 5 games he played in at Troy, he averaged over 30 points. He's definitely would have been first team All Sun Belt. Well, all right,
I don't think he would have been player of the year, because the Simons guy out of Georgia State is so dominant. He's a great player as well, but I think he would have been all Sun Belt. The thing I'm trying to figure out, though, is if the guy's suspended, and I know he had a great career, and I know, his senior day, but for them to honor him senior day and give him a plaque and let him walk out there, and he's suspended from the team, I mean, that had to be a tough decision.
Well, I tell you what, it was a class.
With the coaches in the athletic department to do that, but
and all right, here this guy is that he's hurting their team. Now I don't know the whole circumstance.
There's no doubt. I mean, Coach Cunningham mentioned it. That it was disaster the way they lost Jordan and the way all that went down at the end of the season. I mean, he actually said that. So strange situation that he was still honored on senior day in street clothes.
A class act with the staff at Troy, and I'm sure there's reasons behind all of that. But again, you take your best player out. He doesn't play the last 10 games of the regular season, and it's like taking Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, or Mickey Mantle out of the lineup, wouldn't it be?
Well, I think the biggest issue is the ball always touched his hands, when they were having an offensive possession. And he was a good distributor of the ball, and was a dominant scorer. Nobody could stop him. So I don't know. It's one of the weirdest situations we've ever experienced at Troy, in my opinion, this year.
But I think before you have to buy out a coach's contract, I don't know what the buyout was, but Troy's not strong enough yet to be buying out a lot of contracts. You know what I'm saying?
Troy's got plenty of money to pay for $280,000. That's not that hard to buy.
To me that sounds like you got it. All right, good.
About 7 of them.
What? All right. How many?
About 7.
Is that all?
All right.
Okay.
Here's what happened. So Bernardo plays against South Alabama on February the 2nd. So that was the last game he played in. Troy got beat 81-75. He missed the Little Rock game, the Arkansas State game, the Georgia State game, the Georgia Southern game, South Alabama game, the Texas State game, the UT Arlington game, Appalachia State game, and Coastal Carolina. So how many games is that?
10, it sounds like.
Let's see. So that means he missed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he do you think they would have gone? 5-5?
Probably 5, probably 7 and.
No, they wouldn't have won that many, I don't think. But I mean, this team probably would have gone 5-5, and that puts your record, you know,
that puts you in the
like
tournament.
Around 17 wins, and maybe I don't know, 15
and that
losses.
would probably put you in.
I mean, it puts you in a situation where I think you definitely make the tournament.
Yeah.
The conference tournament. So.
Well, I tell you, he was a great player, and he'll go down probably as one of the best players ever at Troy.
He's got to be the second leading scorer in Division I history, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy started 4 years and put up huge numbers.
No question about it.
Wesley Person is first, and I got to think Bernardo's got to be probably second.
Exactly right. Mike, we're going to go. We were talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, about this. I reckon, would you call this a?
I mean, it's reunion Troy. It's just old pictures of Troy.
And it's old, and you go to www.reuniontroy.com. www.
No, I guess the Chamber of Commerce put this out.
They must have, and we're gonna go to it right now. We're gonna just see a few of them. This is the old fire department. Now this was probably back in the 40s, probably. I'm just guessing. But there's the old police car right there, and of course they had a motorcycle. They had 2 motorcycles. One of them, Shorty Sullivan, and this is downtown Troy. Troy was considered a mule town, Mike. They sold mules. You know, mule was a very important thing back in the 20s and the 30s because that's how they farmed. And this is the junior high band. I want to say junior high band, Herman Mall's band. And boy, they had a great band program back under the legendary Herman Mall. And all right, this is the Delta Chi. Now, this building now has been bought, Mike, by a mysterious donor.
That's great.
And it's gonna make. And the Delta Chi's had a fraternity house there. Later on, the Pi Kappa Phi's had a house there. Wonderful house. And here's the picture I was telling you about, Beard Hospital. And so many of these pictures are so well done, and so Miss Phelps, Miss Lyra Phelps, there's several people that I recognize right off the bat, but this is the staff of Old Beard Hospital located on Pine Street. Now,
were you born in Beard Hospital?
Yes. Now I don't know exactly where this one is taking place. I want to say this was the children's home. This is what I want to say. What? The old schoolhouse. Okay, in Troy, the old schoolhouse. I don't know where it was located, but it was 2 stories. All right, here's downtown.
That wouldn't be Old Troy High School?
This is right here, Troy Bank and Trust Company. I think that's what that is. Located right downtown Troy, where Earl Ellis's real estate company is. There was a fire down there, on down the street is right over the drugstore down there. That would be Cinco Drugs, and that building's still standing. But look at the old cars. I would think this be in the 30s, maybe the early 40s, but I don't know exactly. Of course, this is the Mule Trading Center. There was a giant fire in downtown Troy. And a bunch of mules were killed, and in fact,
what caused the fire? Was it arson or just
I don't know, but a very outstanding citizen was also in that fire. But is that all we got? Why is that?
Well, you pulled up as much as you could pull up.
I know. I was thinking you could pull up more than that, but maybe not. But now, last night
maybe you can get in touch with Leanne Wyndham and find out how this came about and how this started. And
yeah, it'd be wonderful to talk to her. And of course, it was very interesting, and there's a lot of pictures to look at. So if you want to look at old Troy, and another thing that make you sick, we cut down all these beautiful trees on West College Street and North 39th Street. Used to have a big. Is that all you can get?
I'll get some more.
He said he can get some more. Let's see.
You think about trees, too, and think about when Opal, the hurricane, came through on the university and how many beautiful trees we lost. I mean, it really is sad.
Growing up, Mike, I had a big oak tree. I'm talking about a huge oak tree right there in front of my house. And you know what do oak trees in shady grounds do? What do they present a problem that you might have? Do you know what it would be?
Roots.
Roots is one, and you're right, and it always tore up the sidewalk there. What else?
What kind of problems?
Yeah, something like
too many birds.
Well, you did have a lot of birds and a lot of acorns, but you know something else that you had those little black ants. You had those black ants, and then you had roaches. Oak trees and stuff like that presented roaches too, you know.
Couldn't you take care of that with pesticides?
Well, we did, but I'm just saying that those trees, cause. And then another thing, a lot of leaves that you had to sweep up in the fall of the year. Let me tell you the thing I miss about Troy so much was they don't allow you to burn leaves anymore. Used to when I was a kid.
I like the smell of burning leaves.
I do too. And back in the days when I used to walk back and forth from elementary school, most every other yard would have somebody burning leaves, and the smell of those burning leaves were really good. What is something that I like to do, Mike, that you've noticed about me over the years, being your dad?
What do you like to do?
Yeah.
You like to go get scufflings?
No. With trees, with oak trees. What did I like to do?
With oak trees?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, hadn't you ever seen me step on acorns and hear them pop? Yeah, I love to step on acorns. Like if I'm walking down the street.
You should have went to Birmingham and went in my backyard. There was about 10 million acorns.
I'll tell you this. Right now, if I'm walking down the street with acorns, I sort of cut down my strides and start stepping on acorns and hear them pop. I don't know if anybody else is like that or not. But that's another thing about an oak tree. But that big oak tree, they cut it down. It was wonderful shade, and we had a swing in it, and it was just a beautiful tree. And they did that all the way up Orion Street, and then across to Orange Street, and down.
Yeah, like the golf course at Troy University was known as Trojan Oaks. And it was beautiful trees that fell during Opal all night.
Yeah, you're right. And but those oak trees, especially going down North 39th Street, were beautiful, and it provided a huge shade. In fact, you went down Murphy Street or North 39th Street, and it made a tunnel. The oak trees actually made a tunnel, and it was just beautiful. I was in Greenville the other day, and Greenville didn't cut their trees.
You didn't lose two of your favorite places. No?
I'll tell you right now, if people say, well, Greenville, it has 9,000 or 10,000 people, they got more nice homes than Troy does. I mean, I was very impressed with their neighborhoods. Of course, Troy is bigger because of the university and so forth, and we're excited.
The players up there, Bo Hostler is 3 under after 4. Patton Kazire out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, played college golf at Auburn, is 2 under after 3. Michael Thompson, who played college golf at Alabama, is 1 under. Louis Oosthaven, one of my favorite players, is 1 under.
Why is Oosthaven one of your favorite players?
And then Justin Thomas is 1 under after 1. Bryson DeChambeau, one of your favorite players.
I like his hat.
Is 1 under. And then Billy Horschel, another guy I like, is 1 under so far at the Players' Championship. So they are off and running so far.
I'll tell you right now, I'll bet that 5 out of the top 10 finishers in this tournament will be from another land. Another land, Mike.
Well, I mean, it's got a huge international field. Mickelson tees off at 8:04. So he'll be teeing off soon, and then there's some other guys that will be teeing off soon as well.
Out of all these golfers that come from other countries, what country do you think produces the best golfers in Europe?
Tiger tees off at 127. Well, I mean, you got great golfers, from, Northern Ireland. You got Roy McIlroy. Of course, you got a lot of great Australian golfers, Jason Day. There's, guys from Spain, Sergio Garcia.
We're starting to see a lot of them from Spain and that area.
I mean, you got guys that, in the Ryder Cup, Europe always, seems like it means more to them. So they always play really well in the Ryder Cup. But, I mean, there's great golfers all over the world. But when it's all said and done, I mean, I still think America's got the best players.
Yeah, no question about it. We're waiting and see if he can put more of these pictures on. But, again, I found it to be very interesting. And I'm going to call Leanne today and find out more about it. I need to call Charles Henderson High School and find out when they start their spring break. That would be of interest.
I was down here at the beach, and I was looking at our freezer, and we had some sisters dressing. And I was wondering, is there ever a time during the week on the buffet? I love sisters.
Oh, yeah, they
all. Be in Troy and get to have dressing. Do they ever do dressing during the week anymore at all?
All the time. They do it all the time. It'll be on there 2 or 3 times a week.
So they have the dressing during the week. That's great to hear. I hadn't had dressing there in a long, long time. It seems like every time I go, they don't have it.
A good thing about today, Montgomery Advertiser, they give a list of all the games that can be seen on television, including the golf. So it's going to be a big weekend watching basketball. Of course, March Madness has started, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, you got teams that are winning their conference tournaments and getting that automatic bid. And then, of course, you got teams that are trying to find a way to get into the NCAA tournament. They take 68 teams, so, there's play-in games that start on Tuesday night, and the national tournament will start on a Thursday. I'm definitely excited about the filling out a bracket, though. I've always enjoyed doing that. Actually, I have a lot of friends that used to call me, and I fill out their brackets as well.
We start that next week. In fact, Sunday they'll have the parents.
Made a lot of money in office pools over the years on brackets. I've done pretty well.
They'll have the brackets will be announced Sunday, won't they?
Yeah, we'll have to do a bracket on the show, and we'll have to see who does the best.
Yeah. Of course, again, a lot of good basketball tonight. Alabama plays tonight. So does Auburn. Auburn plays at 2 today, don't they, Mike?
Yeah, 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30. Auburn goes up against Missouri.
Missouri. What? I would not want to play Auburn, man. They're really, really hot right now after beating Tennessee.
And I'll tell you something about why I like Auburn. The way they play hard, but their coach is hard. He gets in there loud. I mean, all these guys giving high fives when somebody comes out of the game and just missed 2 or 3 free throws or blew a layup or threw the ball away. They're giving these guys high fives. They don't deserve a high five. Man, they get in there loud and make it hurt to make mistakes and be brought out of the game.
Bruce Pearl cannot catch a break, though. He brought in another assistant coach in the offseason, and now he's a part of the NCAA violations for paying players. So Auburn's got another assistant coach suspended now the rest of the season. Of course, they're still trying to figure out what's going to happen with Will Wade at LSU. He's on a recorded FBI conversation, talking about paying a player to come to school to play for him at LSU. Yeah. So he's lost his job and probably will never coach in college basketball ever again. So
what's the deal on our guy from Brantley?
What?
What's the deal on our guy from Brantley? Is he completely out of basketball now?
Yeah, Chuck Person. They're still the trial's coming up on that soon.
All right,
so they're going to find out.
So he could win his trial. Is that right?
No, nobody's going to win the trial. They've got these guys. They're done. It's just a matter of when they're found guilty, but. They're all just trying to plea bargain right now.
All right.
But this is all due to Adidas and Nike, trying to get contract rights or shoe deals with certain players. I don't know why they went after Purefour though, because neither one of them, Purefour barely even plays for Auburn right now, and Wiley's been a real disappointment this year as well. I know he's battled injuries, but Auburn I think is better without Wiley right now.
Might be, of course. Looking at Alabama starting line.
You wouldn't say that much about a 6'11" guy that had a lot of height, but I don't think either one of these guys are going to be NBA players the way it's going right now.
Yeah. I was looking at Alabama with their lineup. Dante Hall, the young man from Luverne, 6'9", is averaging right at close to 11 points a game. And listen to this, 8.5 rebounds a game. You know, he's having a pretty good year, Mike.
Yeah, he leads the conference in double-doubles.
And Kyra Lewis Jr.
He just can't shoot, though, unfortunately. You know, the guy just can't step back and make a 10-foot jump shot. He can't.
The best shooter on their team is Kyra Lewis Jr. He's
I mean,
freshman.
Hall can't. If Hall gets a rebound, he can either dunk it or get a layup, but he can't step out on anybody and make a shot.
Does Alabama look good in the future, or do you think it's all downhill?
I think Avery Johnson's. I think he might be out the door. I think you might see him fired if they lose today.
Now Jared Harper is only 5'11", but he's averaging 15 points a game.
He's a phenomenal, strong point guard that can shoot lights out. The guy for Auburn.
Yeah. Bryce Brown also.
I think he'll go to the draft.
Bryce Brown also is averaging close to 16 points a game. Those are two pretty good players for Auburn.
Oh, Auburn's got a team that can go pretty far in the NCAA tournament, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll be watching it
all over. And they got a great coach. You know, I think Bruce Pearl's a really, really good coach.
I want to mention First National Bank of Troy Brundage today. Our good friends John and John Ramage, and of course his dad. John's the president and CEO, and of course his dad's chairman of the board of First National Bank of Troy Brundage, with main offices on Main Street right here in Brundage, and we appreciate them very much being a part of our show. Hope you've enjoyed our show today, and of course we're still waiting on some of that, more of that footage, but
10 more.
He's got us about 10 more, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see 10 more historic places in Pike County, Alabama. I know I've got a picture of the Troy Rotary Club in the late 20s, and let's see what he's got for us here. Of course, we appreciate First Cahaba Bank, brand new bank located on the...
The Lady Trojans will play today at 2 p.m. against South Alabama.
All right, well, that'll be on TV too, won't it?
Yeah, you can probably get it on ESPN Plus.
2 p.m. today against South Alabama.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game, though, man. South Alabama's 22-9, Troy's 22-7, so that's not going to be an easy game.
You're right. That's a tough draw right there. All right, let's see what we got. We're going to look at some of these. We found a amp. Would you call this an amp or just some? Hopefully, it'll be something that they'll continue to show and maybe add some pictures to it. And I'll call her and ask her more about it later on. All right, let's see. Evidently, we're still having trouble getting it on, but yeah, we're ready. All right, here we go. All right, this is downtown Troy, and the thing is, Mike, the old courthouse is very prevalent right there in the middle. And of course, this is another footage from downtown Troy. I think this is outside the courthouse. They're having some kind of rummage sale or maybe cooking some food, and there are people in line. Here's an old baseball team coached by Joe Hollis. Of course, this is one of a very good team. Chase Riddle came after Hollis left, but that was a pretty good team right there. This is the old Charles Simpson High School building located adjacent to Troy City Hall now, but this is where our Army had a building there, and the National Guard. And here's some historic images, and these are some local girls and boys. I'm sure they've got, and this is the faculty, one of the early faculty pictures of the professors at Old Troy Normal School. These people went on, they established Troy University. Of course, this is the Wheaton House. This was the sister to Charles Henderson. And of course, it's been it's now been taken over and remodeled. It's a beautiful old home. one of the older houses in Troy. It says TSU, they were calling it Troy State University even back then, wasn't they? And of course, this is the old schoolhouse, which was located on the railroad tracks and adjacent to downtown Troy. And I don't know exactly. Here's Johnny Long, the great one, the one of the greatest band directors of all time. One of his first Troy University concert choirs, concert bands, excuse me. Here's the first Troy Starlight Drive-In Theater show. Michael Caine in Play Dirty. Gosh, I didn't know Michael Caine went that far back. But that was the first.
Where was the drive-in theater? Where was that located?
It was located where the shopping center is now, on the bypass, where Piggly Wiggly is on the bypass. And this is Troy Normal School. Up at the top left is one of the main buildings, and then to the right is the top left had been torn down, and I want to say the armory was built there, but that was also Edge Hospital for years. And then right next to him was the old library, which is now City Hall in Troy. And down to your right, the tall building, is the old Hotel Troy, and this train station right there to the right. A lot of people said Troy should have never tore down that train station. It was a beautiful building. This is the old Pace Field. If you'll notice, no fence, but they played many a ball game out there. And those heads down at the bottom were sitting in that beautiful old grandstand. But that's the baseball field. They had professional baseball played on there, and it's also where the college played. And here's one of the old cars in Old College Street. I can't figure out. I want to say that could be the fan house there. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure who those two people are right there, but they do give those names if they've got them. And here is the Whopper Burger, Mike. This was a big hamburger. It was located on Madison Avenue. You know where Madison?
Never even heard of that.
All right, you know where that seafood place is on Madison Avenue?
Yeah.
All right, that's where they was, and it stayed open late. It was a good hamburger, big hamburger. And I used to get, it was one of the only places you could find something to eat if you were a Troy student late at night. And here's the football field. This is the old Memorial Stadium, and you can see not many bleachers. Those bleachers on the left are still there, and they built everything else around those bleachers. But on the left, those bleachers still stand. On the right, you can't see it, but they were wooden bleachers, real small wooden bleachers. And then it was a hole, big hole, and then down at your bottom is your grassy area looking out over the field. But that was Old Memorial Stadium in Troy. And this is, I want to say, Sam Williams drugstore. And I want to say that Mr. Bird bought this drugstore from Sam Williams, but I could be wrong. The Birds bought the drugstore in 1940, and this was Mr. Sam Williams' drugstore. I want to say in the same place where Bird Drugs is located today. And there's the ice cream bar. And here's three lovely ladies. I don't know who they are, but BS, they're advertising clothing, I think. But here's the Sound of the South Marching Band, one of the Coach Dr. Long's first bands at Troy, and they had a beautiful majorette section, and this must have been the homecoming parade, and I think it was. You can see over the right, Leon's was one of the department stores, and then there was
I remember Leon's.
Yeah, and I think that's where City Hall is now. I mean, WTBF Radio. Rosenberg was a two-story building on down further. Lorch's jewelry was there, too, and the bank, F&M Bank on the left. But that was downtown Troy at homecoming, and this is one of the old bands. You notice that's the home side of Troy with that old press box, Mike, and then that was all the seats they had, and then the wooden seats down below here. You notice they had a track, pretty nice track, and they had wooden seats right below here. But that was one of the first Sound of the South bands. Looked like a pretty big band that he had. And of course, when he got here,
was there even a band program before Johnny Long got there?
Yeah, yeah, there was a band program, and it wasn't a bad program, but it was small. But Dr. Johnny Long, and that's Betty Wags, Mike. What a precious lady. And you know what, Leanne, that was her grandmother. Now I might know the rest of the story here. But Betty Wags, that lady there, was somebody that will live in history and one of the great teachers of all time, Mike. Don't you know, she was a wonderful, wonderful person.
Yeah, she has a gymnasium now named after her. That's pretty
right.
Unique.
Betty Wags Gymnasium, and of course,
That's
Betty Wagner.
That's pretty unique for somebody that wasn't a coach.
Yeah. David, I wanted to tell you I appreciate that, but more and more of these pictures can be seen on Reunion Troy. Reunion Troy, www.reuniontroy.com. So you want to...
You know, there's several people have written books about Troy. Maybe you can get a pen and paper one day and write a small book about Troy.
You know what? I would like to do that, and I might just do it one day. You never can tell. Mike, of course, we got basketball. So this is March Madness right here. Don't you agree?
Well, I mean, it's been going on for the last week or so. I mean, you had a huge upset in college basketball. #1 got beat the other night.
Who beat them? Who beat them?
St. Mary's upset Gonzaga, so they got the automatic bid.
I bet they played at St. Mary's. Don't you think they played at St. Mary's?
No, it was a conference tournament championship game. But St. Mary's is always known because they always have half their players are from Australia. Of course, Gonzaga is still 30-3. I expect them to go a long ways. I tell you, a lot of people don't talk about Mark Few at Gonzaga. What a great job he's done as a coach there.
Oh, he's a good coach. Well, let me ask you this, Mike. Who's the best team in basketball right now?
I mean, I still think it's Duke. If Williamson comes back, you know, Zion has been hurt.
He's the one that got hurt.
Ever since his shoe blew out. But
do you think they sued that shoe company?
no, they're Nike. He'll end up signing an endorsement deal after the season.
Well,
for
he needs to, but let me tell you something. Do you know those shoes could cost him his career?
No, he's able to play. They're just holding him out because you know, he's one and done, and he can make millions of dollars in the NBA. So they don't want to play him until the NCAA tournament when they really need him. So he's just sitting out.
But is LSU one of the top 5 teams in the country?
Well, I mean, LSU won the SEC championship, but you know, one of their top players, Smart, who is on the conversation with you know, Wade, the coach, is now suspended as well. So you got your coach suspended and one of your top players suspended. So
what did they do? Do you know?
They're paying, you know, thousands of dollars for players to come to LSU.
Oh God! Oh me! We're looking at the top teams in the country.
In my opinion, I think you got Duke. I think you got Kentucky. He's got a really good chance to go to the Final Four. I think Tennessee's got a chance to go to the Final Four. And then, you know, I liked Michigan State. They lost their best player, this kid from Huntsville, Josh Langford. And I like Michigan, though, instead of Michigan State. I like John Beilein a lot. I think he's a really good coach. And those will be some of the teams I think can make the Final Four.
Of course, Gonzaga 1, Virginia 2, North Carolina sort of snuck in there.
I can't put Virginia in there after they lost that game last year to some Maryland team I'd never heard of in my life. It was the first time ever a 1 and lost to a 16.
Yeah, Kentucky.
And, they just don't play great in the NCAA tournament. So
Kentucky's got a bunch of young players.
I will say North Carolina's playing lights out there right now. They've swept Duke this season. So I forgot about North Carolina. They definitely have a great chance to go to the Final Four.
They don't give Houston much respect, but Houston's 29-2, and they rank 10th in the country. So But any sleepers? Auburn could
they got
be
a really good
sleeper.
coach at Houston. He used to be the head coach in Indiana. I can't think of his name,
But now Auburn could be a sleeper in this whole tournament, couldn't they?
I think they're definitely a Sweet 16 team. I don't think they can go farther than that, but I think they can definitely make Sweet 16, which is a good season, though.
I was looking, and it looks like only 3 SEC teams made the top 25, so that's not no.
SEC right now looks like they're going to get 7 teams in.
Yeah.
Outside chance of maybe getting 8.
Yeah. Of course, all of that. What time is that? 7 o'clock Sunday, or what's the time there?
It's usually around 5 o'clock.
You know, that's one of the highest rated shows on television every year. Did you know that?
I'm sure it is. March Madness. I mean, everybody wants
what it is, it's the brackets, and
yeah,
and people are excited about it. And
all right, man, I'm about to stroll these little baby girls
thank you so
to the
much.
beach. Let them get out in the sand and run around.
Well, have a good time. We'll see you later. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Amos calling in from Graden Beach, Florida, and we appreciate that today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. We moved around a little bit. I brought that to your attention to go to on your Facebook account, and this brings back a lot of old memories of old Troy, and of course a lot of people put this on their computer at home in a lot wider screen, and I was able to look at a lot of those pictures last night, and it really brings back a lot of memories of a lot of great folks. If you look good, you'll say, oh, that's Tip Colley playing in the band. I didn't know that. And then here's a picture of the courthouse downtown, and that was really downtown Troy. That's the old water tank, and this was outside the courthouse. So they had some kind of feed or something like that. But again, it's something to watch, and something that I think you'll enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed our show today, and you'll be with us bright and early in the morning for Today in LA. See you then.